Good morning, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, will you? Matthew in his Gospel has a very interesting little section where he describes how Jesus does the rounds of all the towns and villages and teaches in their synagogues. And he heals all kinds of sicknesses and diseases. And furthermore, he notes and is impacted by the situation of the people he is meeting. They are harassed and dejected, like sheep without a shepherd. And Jesus responds. The compassion in him moves him to response. And he first prays to the Father, the Lord of the harvest. And then he calls his 12 disciples, and he calls them by name. And these 12 he sends out in favour of the harassed and dejected people that surround him. And he sends them out with this instruction: don't go into pagan territories, nor into Samaritan villages, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And this is like a missionary commission. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And I was thinking, who are the lost sheep today? If the church and all the baptized are missionaries and are to be sent out to the lost sheep, who are the lost sheep? And I thought of 3 categories. There are many more, I know, but 3 categories came to mind. And one comes from my experience on mission in Peru. And I believe it's the baptized who consider themselves not fanatical. And it quite often happened to you'd be discussing with someone in a meeting in Peru, or an encounter, a social adventure, whatever it might be. And you'd say to him, I haven't seen you at church, or are you a Catholic, or what is? And the answer would so often be, yes, Father, I'm a Catholic, but I'm not fanatical. And that meant he'd go to a mass once a year that the siblings would put on, maybe for their deceased mother. Or maybe she would take part actively in the annual fiesta, for the little image they would have brought down from the mountain of Our Lady of Chapi, for example. And every year the people from that village would gather, and they would have a mass, they would have a little procession, and then they would have a very good feed, dance and drink. That's one category. Another one I was thinking of is those who find themselves excluded when there is a strict or rigid implementation of church law. And I think, for example, of partners. I think of divorced. And I think of those who haven't gone to confession. And of course, today I think of women. And a third category that came to mind is those baptized who have never come to know or value or appreciate Jesus and his message. And today I want to celebrate those lost sheep, because they are the ones to whom we went when we were sent to the edges of the rapidly expanding city where there was no Catholic community. And the first people we would look for and find would be the lost sheep. And they were the ones who, after living, working, praying together, would become the foundation stones of a new Christian community. And it was then that they, in their turn, having realized the richness of a relationship with Jesus and his message, would in turn go out and make contact with maybe someone in their family, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone from work or a friend, and invite them in. And they also would begin the process of no longer being lost sheep. And then when that happened, it was our turn to move on, to go out further to the edge of the city, where as yet there was no Christian community or Catholic community. And again, we would start by looking for the lost sheep and inviting them in and living and working and praying with them. And so the process would continue. And so this morning I want to give thanks for those many, many lost sheep who were the foundation blocks for many, many Catholic communities. They not only supported, but they taught and they evangelized the missionaries. Thanks.